Hello and thank you. I'm Susan McMurter. Anthony Campigotto has spoken at Ignite North Bay once before on the topic of healthy hobbies. He once again joins us to share his passion for psychology and his expertise as communicator and psychotherapist from the last 6 years working in the field here in North Bay. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Campigotto.
I never get used to the lights. So I got my phone here because it's 2018 and I feel like I'm going to try and be modern with my notes that I might need. But yes, thank you for the excellent introduction, Sue, and I'm here for two reasons tonight. One is to ensure that you know that there is a mildly less eccentric Campigotto involved with all of this shenanigans. Hi, Grandma. The second thing I'm here to do is, yep, there it is to talk to you about communication. It's something that I'm really passionate about. So why do I want to talk about it? Because human beings are very social animals. We tend to talk with each other with the same frequency that we breathe. And if you're Italian, it's very loud breathing. As a therapist, I've really made a career and a life out of helping people to communicate both with each other and with various diverse topics. And really the big problems arise when we fail to communicate with each other effectively. Living in a connected society and a community, communication is a huge part of our life on a day-to-day. In my line of work, I've learned that when it comes to person-to-person interactions, communication is almost always boiling down to the point of success or the point of contention. It affects our relationships, our friendships, and our business relationships. So if communication is so important, then what exactly is the problem? I hope you like that picture. Well, meaningful communication has three main pieces to it. It takes emotion, it takes confrontation, and it takes awareness and assertiveness. So if you struggle with any of those three pieces, if you struggle with your own sense of emotion, confronting others, or standing up for yourself, then communication can seem like a pretty intense and scary thing to do. So another issue that we encounter with communication is that we tend to take communication for granted. We as a species are just very egocentric, rather, which is that we make ourselves the main character of our story all the time. So we don't often consider the position and perspective of others. We just are concerned with what we're thinking about. And so when someone accuses you of not listening because you're just thinking of what you want to say next, this is an example of that. So how do people tend to react? Well, they might flee, they might freeze, or they might fight. Fleeing might be avoiding a subject or a person or a conversation. Freezing might be the example of just emotionally shutting down and closing off. And fighting could be something good, like standing up for yourself and starting a meaningful conversation, or it could be bad. Maybe it's you flipping out on someone. So the next kind of issue is miscommunication, which is the fool's gold of communication. If we fail to check in or clarify or listen, it can lead to two different conversations happening at the same time that are completely different, and then it just snowballs and the confusion compounds, and it leads to a lot of messy problems in life. If it was a comedy, we'd all laugh at how inept all the characters were, but in real life it can lead to some serious drama. It's also important to consider what we're saying, what we're not saying, our tone, motivations, nonverbals, and more when we are communicating with others. I hope everyone enjoys the joke here if you figured it out by now. Basically, Batman, yeah, there it is. Batman is asking Robin for the Batmobile, and he got a Batmobile, which is a little kind of example of the next problem that we face with our modern day communication. The idea here is that we now have so many ways to communicate with each other: texting, emailing, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and the list just kind of keeps going on. Many of these modes of communication lack things like tone and context and expression, all kinds of stuff. And that egocentrism I spoke about before, that will lead us to put the tone we think is being said onto those messages. Another problem with all this communication is we're constantly accessible to one another. We always get to speak our mind for better or for worse. So how do we approach tackling these issues? Well, delivery is a huge part of it. It's all about how we say it. So for example, I have a business partner, and maybe that business partner says to me, we have a very important client meeting coming up, and so we can't afford to lose them. I'm going to take the charge. Well, what do I hear there? My partner doesn't trust me. My partner thinks I'm lacking. My partner thinks I don't have the skill. Really, maybe all they meant was, you've got a lot on your plate. I'll take it from here. But he didn't say that. And I don't know what he's thinking. I only know what he's saying. Another thing to shy away from are one-sided conversations. This is the idea of a whole dialogue in your head without giving the person you're thinking about an opportunity to participate. So you may pass up an excellent opportunity for no good reason at all. So essentially, in conclusion, I think that when it comes to communication, you should ask yourself a question. Am I fleeing, freezing, or fighting? If it's the former two, challenge yourself to do something different. If it's the latter, then ask yourself, is this going to be meaningful or am I just upset? But I hope that my words carry some purpose for everyone here tonight. I hope that you've just enjoyed this discussion on discussions and that you might take some of these tenets and use them as early as tonight. So thanks for coming to Ignite, and I hope everyone had a great time.